Hi, today I want to demonstrate 5 piles of hay with Pericles. And this exercise is one of my favorite exercises because all of the exercises in the Resnick method can be practiced in this one exercise. So it's a great way to hang out and share territory with your horse, providing a sacred space where he feels comfortable in just enjoying our company. So the other thing that this exercise provides us with is the beginning education of how to lead a horse from behind. And for those of you who are students in the course already, you know that leading from behind is the 4th ritual in 7 rituals in the Resnick method, the waterhole rituals. So this ritual helps create willingness in a horse. And in this exercise, we begin to teach the student and the horse how to begin to lead from behind. And there's 3 phases that we're going to practice. So the first phase would be that you ask your horse to move off a pile and you let him go to any pile he wants and you just follow him there. And then you hang out a bit and just be with your horse. The second phase is that you would direct your horse to a particular pile of hay. And that takes just a little bit of knowledge in where to stop, where to halt, how to know how far is too much walking behind your horse before you push him to another pile. So that is the second phase, and that might take some time for you and your horse. So you might have to stay in phase 1 for a while before you go on to phase 2. Phase 3 of this exercise would be asking your horse to halt in between piles of hay. Now, in this program, we've already brought halt into the scenarios with introducing food and asking our horse to wait and bring him a carrot and things like that. So we've already developed a lot of respect around food. So the horse understands head up and head down and understands that the food belongs to us and that we are going to share it with him and that we are going to take him to these different piles, but he needs to follow our lead. So this is a real test in our leadership. How can we interact, finding the entry point of connection with our horse and still engaging and letting him enjoy this exercise with us? So this might take you weeks to get to the 3rd phase, and it might be that you already have such a close connection and vibrationally you're very connected to your horse already, and you can move through the phases rather quickly. But it's not a contest on how fast we can get through it, so enjoy it and just take your time. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to begin by demonstrating to you the very first phase of leading from behind in this exercise. So I'm going to come around, and the very important thing is that I want to first ask my horse to move in the opposite direction. Now you might wonder why when I could just stand there and ask him to move on. Well, I can do that later, but in the beginning I want to make sure I'm clear and that my horse understands that he actually turned and moved due to my influence in asking him. So I'm going to come up in the front of the horse, just a little off center, but in the front, and I'm just going to ask him to go. And I'm going to let him go to whatever pile he wants to go to. And I'm going to follow. So he chose that pile. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm not going to spend a lot of time hanging out in between. I've spent hours this morning with Pericles sharing territory, so I'm very happy with the relationship that I have with him right now today. And so I'm going to keep going and show you each phase consecutively. But I want to make it clear again that this isn't what I want you to do. I want you to take your time, and in between these phases, I want you to hang out with your horse and practice other things. Ask him for head up. Ask him to come for a walk with you. Do anything that you feel would bring connection to you in this exercise. So now I'm going to demonstrate phase 2. And in this phase, I'm going to lead him to a particular pile. And I'm going to choose a pile. I think I'm going to choose that pile over there. So let's see if I can get him to go to that pile. Now this time, I don't need to start in the front, right? Because I already led him. I'm still back here hanging out talking to you. So I'm just going to ask him to move on. Now, I got a little ahead of him, and he almost turned in and faced me. That's why you saw me use my Liberty stick to say, oh no, you can go there. So that is how it would look if you were directing your horse to a particular pile. So now I'm going to go up and connect back with my horse. I'm going to go up and spend a couple minutes with him and ask him to walk to another pile with me before I move on to the third phase of leading from behind. So you want to spend a lot of time just hanging out with your horse in the pause. We need to always remember it's important to know when to lead, when to follow, and when to pause. And that's what reciprocal movements is all about. And this is such a special time because this time together is deepening our bond with one another. So now I'm going to demonstrate the third phase of leading from behind in this exercise we call 5 paws of hay. And I'm going to ask him to move to another pile, and I'm going to see if I can, I'm going to ask him to move, and I'm going to see if I can halt him in between 2 piles of hay. Excuse me. Can you go? Can you go? And whoa, whoa, whoa. Good boy. Wait. So there. Now I've asked my horse for halt in between the piles, and he's accepting it because he knows that as soon as he halts and he is able to do that for me, I'm going to let him go to the pile anyway. So this is a really fair deal for horses, and it gives them an understanding of how to take our leadership and how to connect with us in that leadership so that we can build a one-minded consciousness with our horse. So I'm just going to leave it at that right now. It was just really important that I show you the 3 phases in this exercise and then remind you to remember to spend time hanging out with your horse, ask for head up and head down, throw some hello rituals in there, and just be with your horse. So I hope this exercise has helped you. Thanks.